if we could address you directly right now?
Everything comes full circle.
That's number one.
I don't tell him what questions to ask me.
There are a lot of people around town that have the same question.
Brush my teeth. I'm going to get washed in the morning.
I can't confirm or deny.
You know, just keep going a little bit longer here, Mike. Keep going a little bit longer.
Host of The Orange, ESPN Radio, Syracuse 97.7 and 100.1.
This is the Burdick Lexus and Burdick BMW postgame show.
Yeah. What the heck was that? 95-86, Syracuse beats Boston College. It takes 3 overtimes. That took as many weird and wacky detours as one could imagine. That is not going down in the list of best played basketball games of all time, but man, it packed some entertainment in down the stretch. We'll go with that. Brian Higgins with you. It is post game. Our phone lines are open, 315-437-7644. Let me give you a little update of our plan of attack here, which has changed significantly here over the course of the last hour, because that's we were supposed to be ending postgame right around now. The Crunch are playing at 7 o'clock. Crunch pregame starts on our radio station at 6:45. That's a half an hour from now. That's not long enough for our nonsense that we need to do after that game tonight, is it? It doesn't really feel it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to be on the radio till about 6:40. We're going to be on Cuse Sports Talk for longer than that. So keep that in mind as you're listening or watching and getting ready to take in our postgame coverage here today, that things are going to get a little chopped up in the middle. Not chop it up, whatever happened to him in the game today. So lots to get into here postgame. We'll have our full Red Autry postgame press conference, as always, brought to you by Romano. Phone lines will be open, both on our part here on the radio and on QSportsTalk.com. YouTube, Twitch, Cuse Sports Talk here for about 25 minutes or so. We'll turn the radio audience over to the Crunch at 6:45. We will continue on Cuse Sports Talk. I have, my spidey sense feeling is probably at the moment we're going to have to make this transition. It'll be likely during the middle of Red's postgame press conference. So if you don't want to miss out on that, get to QSportsTalk.com. We'll be carrying that in full when it becomes available to us, a.k.a. when it starts in the Dome. Man, there's 8 million things to talk about in that game. The not fouling at the end when they clearly wanted to foul based on what happened a few seconds before that. Nobody on either team can make a free throw. Both teams blew the game 8 million times. Somehow Syracuse wins the game. They're not calling for it in Springfield, but it's a win. It's a win. It was something. That it all happened. Oh my goodness, all of that happened here today. So with that, phone lines are open, as mentioned, 315-437-7644. We'll start with the call. We got Pat in the queue. So what's up, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, we could almost come up with, for some of the older audience that remembers David Letterman. Brian, you're about old enough to remember when Letterman used to do his top 10.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean that was classic entertainment and excellent television. I don't think Red's press conference, even though you could generate a top 10, whether we win or lose, we could all have fun just generating the top 10 most common things that Red says in a press conference. But here's what I would love. It'd be fun to just get to the press conference, and there's 2 very valid questions to ask that he may or may not have an answer for. Hey, Coach, with all the missed free throws that you've had all season, and in this game in particular, why 9 out of 10 times do you put 0 or 1 body at the line to get a rebound? I thought that was pretty interesting. The other piece was, I did see in the third overtime that Chapa had some black strap on his back.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if so who knows, but I mean, Carlos he was right there on that one big turnover/steal that led to nothing because, it was one of those last-second shots that just put us into overtime, but it did prevent BC from scoring. So I will give credit where credit is due. But for the first 30 minutes of his game time, he had 6 negatives and 2 positives for the game, and he allowed 5 threes.
Right.
And those are undeniable facts that if you watch the game, and you just cannot deny. So Carlos is a perplexing player. I think, Brian, me and you had discussed over the last couple of games, he was starting to make threes. He was starting to steal the ball a little bit. He was still getting a fair amount of assists and a fair amount of turnovers. But I'm going to assume that that would be the second question is what happened to Chapa for the last hour?
Yeah, I'm equally curious. Like, I don't know if he'd been screwing up on defense and then they just got into it and he never got back in, or if you said you saw something with his back or whatnot. I don't know. I think I assume that will be a question that is asked, hopefully.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing, right? The one thing about Red is I don't think the media does a great job of asking simple questions, but I do think Red does a better job than Jim at just answering the questions. I think Jim always had better answers, and his answers probably were more intelligent. And the problem that the receiver and the fans and, well, I won't say the fans, I'll say myself and other people that I've spoken to about it, is his personality ruined his answer because he was just so, and that goes back to way back, and I'll credit Dro and Clay for this. He got real snarky after the post standard and that first probation, that he got very defensive and nasty. So you know what? I actually don't blame him because that makes a lot of sense. So the point is, hopefully they'll ask the questions. It would be curious to see what his answers are. But when you look, Brian, last thing, when you look at the ACC conference, there's really three blobs. There's the top three, the bottom three, and everybody else.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
I mean, nobody, like, I would say Wake Forest, I'm not looking at it right now, but you obviously have Duke, and then you obviously have Louisville.
I got to cut you off here, Pat.
Right.
Red's already at the podium here, so we're going to Red Autry right now.
The first half, he was great. Obviously, Eddie, keeping us around, rebounding and scoring, and Jair got it going in the overtime. And JJ was, he was JJ. He stepped up when we needed to, when we needed him to. Again, I can go all down the line of everybody that stepped into this game, but I'm just super proud of this team. That was a game that was very entertaining. Sometimes, you want to be, you want to play this, as a coach, you got an idea how you want to play, but at the end of the day, our guys persevered. They gutted out a win, and I'm just excited and proud of those guys. Questions?
Just what you can say about that leadership of J.J. Starling, 28 points in this game, and just his attacking of the rim and getting to the free throw line late.
Yeah, I thought J.J. kept his focus in the game. Obviously he had a chance to step up and make a couple of free throws that could have maybe ended it, but it didn't happen. But he kept going. And that's the maturity and that's the maturation, and that's when you're a guy, you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to move on to the next play, and I thought he did a phenomenal job of that today.
But was there a message that you kept reiterating as the overtime screwed over the team?
No, just keep playing. Keep playing a lot of time. We knew what we wanted to do. Where the ball was going. The biggest thing was just keep defending and trying to keep them off the glass when we get a stop. And obviously, stops are hard to come by in this game. But just keep going. Stay focused. I thought our press was really good. We created a couple of turnovers there. So again, it was just really staying focused. Staying calm, keep playing.
Adrian, Donald is a 91% return shooter. With Toronto today, with two of them at a very crucial part of the overtime. I don't know what you said. Like, is it serendipitous? Or like, what do you say in a situation like that where the guy just,
Good. I'm glad he missed them. I mean, we didn't shoot our free throws well as neither today. Yeah, again, we had a chance again. We always, as a coach, you look at everything and you look at the stat sheet and you go, man, if we just made, cash in on those, game's over, which, that is true, again. But with all that being said, it's really the resilience and the toughness that our guys showed today. I'm just, that supersedes, any other technical stuff or any other things that can go on that we could talk about this game. But I was just proud of the way they stuck together.
Coach, did you want to foul up three at the end of the regulation before they hit that shot?
Yeah, we had 2 fouls to give, and so we were trying to foul. I think JJ might have went under on the screen. He had to be up, and as soon as he caught it, we wanted to give a foul. But sometimes those things happen so fast, and we just we couldn't get there. But the plan was to foul.
What did you think of the defensive effort down the stretch in the second?
Well, I thought, the last OT was phenomenal. We held them to 1 point. I thought we stepped up and we got the stops that we needed, and then we rebounded it. And, we took care of the ball and, got to the rim, got to the basket, didn't take any, ill-advised shots. So I thought our defense at the end, when we needed it, that last OT, for the last 5 minutes, we held them to 1 point. I thought that was huge.
Going down 7-0 in the second overtime, how did you see your team kind of just roll its way in?
They just stay focused. We had some. We had a kind of an offensive rhythm. So I think, when you go down like that and you kind of struggling to score, I think both teams kind of had an offensive rhythm, to be honest with you. But we just kind of kept chipping away with it. What I told those guys when we were down 7, we don't need to rush anything. Keep taking our time. We got enough time. All right. A lot of times you see in these situations when you get down 7. You start to feel like you need to take a 3, something like that. Just said, hey, keep chipping away at it and getting stops, and that's what we did.
JJ's usually the guy. He's your leader. But in the last 45 seconds there of regulation, he misses the front end or 2-1 in months. Do you say anything to him before you send him back out for overtime?
No, I just told him, hey, let's go close this one out. There's no need to, you don't want to focus on that. Let's close this out, and you'll make the next ones. Just kind of, and the game is going. The game is going. So you don't want him thinking about that. So just trying to give him confidence, and he was confident. I was very proud of JJ today because he really stepped up and kind of kept his composure. And you could see sometimes he was visibly upset about a chance to do something, but he kind of got to the next play, and that's what this team needs, and that's what he needs.
Coach, Elijah Moore, 11 points today, perfect 3-3 distance. What's the next step for him? Because he was very active in the beginning of the first and second half. To kind of take the next step to be maybe some of those later situations. I
think like most freshmen, keep getting better. Keep being more consistent on both sides of the ball. Obviously he had a time where he wasn't really making shots, and offensively he wasn't there. Now he's kind of picking that up, and now it's the other little things. On the other end, on the other side of the ball. You just got to keep continuing, work and get better. And he will. The kid comes in and he works, and he's always for the team. And I was just like I told him, and I told the guys, we need to thank Elijah for keeping us around in that first half.
Is he okay physically a back brace? Does he always wear that?
No, these guys all wear that. You're keeping your back warm. Everybody. Somebody else said something about the back. That's what people do. You try to keep yourself warm. We play 10 guys, so these guys are trying to stay ready to go. When they get called in.
You scored 10 points in the first 8 minutes of the second half, and you sit him for an extended period of time. You have to call time out to get him back in the game. Did it kind of go on too long without him, or what was the kind of philosophy of trying to get him back in the game, and did it just go on too long?
No, I thought the group that was in had a nice rhythm. They were going, and I think, like most coaches, if you can get your best player out and get him some rest, with a lot of time left, you're gonna go back to him. That was kind of the thing, and we had a good rhythm. That team had a good rhythm, and once we stalled, then I got him back in.
Coach, I know that you mentioned that your message changed from first overtime, second overtime, third overtime, but there was a spark. I think everyone saw in that third overtime. Where do you see that coming from? And did you notice, any of the players maybe saying, okay, let's go home. This is the last overtime that we're going to have to come out and win.
I thought, in particular, I thought Jair and Eddie. I thought those two guys really, carried us down the end. Jair on the offensive end, and I thought Eddie did a phenomenal job, rebounding. And even Jair, we didn't come up. We could have come up with a couple of ones earlier, but I thought those two, they were in it. I think everyone that was on the court, and obviously, the one guy I didn't mention, and I'm proud of. He had 6 rebounds today, was Chris Bell. I thought Chris did a phenomenal job defending late in those overtimes on hand. But I just thought the whole group, everybody just you could tell they were locked in and working together trying to get the win.
Eddie played 49 minutes today. I'm guessing that's a personal best. Did you ever look at him and then think, I need to sit him down, he needs a little rest, or how was he How was he looking back at you during those timeouts?
Yeah, Eddie doesn't want no breaks, man. He was in it. He wants to win. Eddie wants to win. I thought he was phenomenal for us. I thought he made some good stunts on some ball screens late. Got a guy to kind of pick it up and shoot something quick and rebound it. But no, Eddie doesn't like to get subbed out the game. He's a competitor. And again, but not once did I even think about it. Late besides. When we go on offense and defense, trying to get someone in. But, we needed him around. He does a lot for us. He calms us down. Obviously, we run a lot of offense through him, whether it's in the post or in the high post, and he can transport the ball and set screens and roll, get our guys open. So, 48 minutes, I'm sure that's his personal best. But, Eddie'll be okay.
Coach, only 38 points in the paint. Benning had almost 20 in the first matchup. I love it there. What do you think of your front court defense?
I thought Eddie did a phenomenal job. Obviously, I do believe Chad may not be 100%, and he came in and did what he could do. But I thought Eddie, for the most part, did a really good job in the paint. And I thought late, JC did a phenomenal job heating up the ball and getting over screens and keeping guys in front of him. And I thought that was the difference.
But it seemed like you used Peter and JC to hit that paint that second when you kind of sort of, I guess, blitz the ball. What was your thought process behind that, and how did you think they did?
Well, we have different ways where, we're in those situations and we practice them. Similar like a press or trying to put pressure in. We hadn't done a lot on the ball screen. We had one coverage, so we wanted to try something different, and it works. Sometimes you try things and it works. But I thought he did a phenomenal job on that last one where we blitzed the ball screen and we got the turnover. But Peter's a high IQ guy. He's a guy that the stats doesn't tell what he does. And JC is the same way. Stats can't define them and devalue what they bring to the game. I thought JC studied the ship when he got back in. Allowed JJ off the ball and let JJ kind of go and make plays.
Brad, for a moment aside, just no matter how the ups and downs of the season is going, this team need a moment to improve. It gets done.
I believe so. Obviously, this team, and we are fighters, and being in a battle like this, and obviously we've been in some battles, but we've been in some, games that weren't battles. So again, to be in a game like this and pull this out against a BC team that is played like that, at Carolina, obviously they came back and beat Florida State. So a good BC team that's playing well. It was good for us. We needed to have that, and I'm excited that we were able to show that. And we just got to keep building. We will keep building and fighting until the end of the season.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Cars.com. Lots to unpack from a triple overtime. Masterpiece is the wrong word. Thriller, I guess. It was something, man. It was absolutely something today in the Dome. The Orange gave it away, got it back, gave it away again, and then pulled it out in OT3, 95-86. We'll take a break. Phone lines open rest of the way. 315-437-7644. Back for one more segment on the radio, then we'll turn it over to the Crunch. We'll stay with you a little bit longer. Cuse Sports Talk only here on this Saturday evening. We're back next year. It is Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.
Syracuse basketball head coach Adrian Autry joins Orange Nation every Thursday at 1. Brought to you by IBEW Local 43, Haler, Fryer & Kuhn, and Burdick BMW. ESPN 97.7 and 100.1.
Just like football, staff leasing
How are we,
handles
chat?
special teams play.
How's everybody
HR,
doing?
payroll, benefits, and
What's going
401k
on?
plans.
How we
so
all
you
feeling?
can focus on calling the right place
That
for
was-
your business.
that was the thing that all
Not
happened.
an employment agency.
That all happened
Staff
today, huh?
leasing is a professional HR organization that can tackle all of your HR needs, so you and your employees can stay in the game.
That was officially
Visit
commercials, Paulie. That was officially something. All right, so this won't really affect you, Q Sports Talk. We'll take another break here in a few minutes to get the Crunch on the air, and but we'll hang out here for a little bit after that on the Q Sports Talk. Wow, they got that in there quickly, Ed. I agree, Q Sports Snower. You are wise beyond your years. Yeah, Pat, call back if you feel like it. You were in the middle of something. Oh, man. That was a basketball game that happened. I fixed it, Randy. Oh, man. What even was that game? I don't even know. I don't even know what just happened there. Hey, they weren't shut out, Frank. They had one. They scored one. They scored one. It wasn't the best game I've ever watched, Hoops Rules. Ooh, Weidenbar. Nice, Randy. Yes, Mike McAllister. The game was not boring. That is factually correct. Yeah, I now feel good. They won't miss the ACC tournament. Woo! Somehow the Orange are only a game out of 7th in the league. This league is so bad. I don't think he really quite said. Did he? I couldn't quite parse that answer. We have a Dave in Syracuse in the line, but which Dave will it be? All right, that it is. We got just about 3 more minutes with you on the radio here. Then we'll turn you over to the Crunch. Get to Cuse Sports Talk if you want more post-game coverage. We'll hang out there for a little while longer post-game today. So let's get one more call in for now. We'll keep the phone lines open throughout, but we've got time for one this segment, and that will be Dave in the Cuse. Hey, Dave.
Hey, Brian, I just got one question, and then I'm going to get off.
Okay.
We got back late to the car, so Adrian was already in the middle of his press conference. I have to hear an answer to this because the top of my head is still burning. Why did they not foul on the last possession of regulation?
They were, based on Red's answer, they were supposed to, and this is now the second time this season this has come up. Like, they gave the foul with 5 seconds left, whatever it was, so there was like the third crack at it. He said it was supposed to be a foul. JJ went under the screen. He was late doing it, so they screwed it up, is basically the answer to the question. They were supposed to foul and failed at it.
That's the only acceptable answer. I thank you.
Yes, so they were supposed to, Dave, but my goodness, they couldn't have given up a more wide open look there at the end if they tried. It felt like it was just like it felt like it was in slow motion. I don't know about you. It was unbelievable.
I'll talk to you again.
All right, thank you, Dave. Yes, so of the many things Red said, end of regulation. what game was that earlier this season? They're all blending together. They were supposed to foul, didn't give the foul. The Reds yelling out for them to foul. They make the three. Blanking on what game it was. We'll look it up here. It was clearly the other game that went to overtime this year. This time, they give the foul when they had one to give. Now, the next foul is going to be a 1-and-1. There's 4 and change left in the game. BC inbounds it to the front court, calls timeout. They inbound it again. And, I mean, going under screens this year has been like the bane of all of our existences because Syracuse has gone under seemingly every screen that's existed all year long for reasons unknown to mankind. JJ is a step late tracking the guy, goes under the screen, gives up the three, boom, it's overtime, and then all of a sudden another hour of our lives disappeared here this afternoon. But that is the best I can figure out what was going on there. All right, here's what we're going to do here. We're going to wrap up our radio portion of Postgame. We're going to hit some buttons here so our fine radio listeners will get Lucas Favali and Crunch pregame coming up in about 5 minutes or so. If you're on Cuse Sports Talk, on Twitch, on YouTube, all you have to do is simply nothing. Just stay there. The show will go on. How's that? Literally, don't do anything, and we'll still be there on the radio or on Cuse Sports Talk. So we're gonna send you off in your own directions here, coming up in right around 10 seconds. So what an exciting countdown. And we will continue doing a little more post-game of this crazy, crazy game today. Syracuse beating BC in triple overtime. I'll hang with you on Cuse Sports Talk. Crunch Hockey on the radio is coming up next.
The 315 with Brian Higgins.
This is a very new and very need to hit some women's lacrosse roster. Like for the first time in a long time, COVID years, 5th years, 6 years, Emma's, Megan's, Tyrell's. People were here for ages upon ages upon ages upon ages. Most of that has all cleared out now. Man, I don't know what to make of this year's women's lacrosse team because unlike the men, we haven't really seen it play together.
4 to 6 on ESPN Radio Syracuse.
No one sells their stocks more pre-owned vehicles than Drivers Village. 500 used available, including over 300 SUVs and trucks, 100. Car and truck warehouse and everywhere at Drivers Village. See more at dvused.com.
Just like football.
Let me just, Ooh, that button's on. Commercials are going to you. Okay, so let me just make sure I'm not screwing up any buttons here. I think we're good here. I think we've hit the right amount of buttons. We need to hit that button and that button and that button. Don't mind me, chat. I'm hitting some buttons. So, okay, we're going to hang out here on Cuse Sports Talk for just a little while longer. You can still call in 315-437-7644. Anything in the chat you want to talk about, we'll hit it here. I thought Red must have sprinted to the podium after that one. I thought we'd still be in his post-game press conference right around now. It's just part of the reason we were doing this as we, we got to get that press conference on the air. RomanoCars.com. Shout out to them. But what's going on? Any burning questions in the chat? Any main thoughts in the chat? And again, you're welcome to give a ring at 315-437-7644. We'll hang out here for just a little bit longer here on this. What day is it? Saturday? Who can keep track after a peculiar game like that? Like that was not a good game. We can all agree that was not a good game, right? Not a good game, but yet turned out to be like what is, I don't know what that was. But Pat, to your point earlier about the league, I got the standings here in front of me, updated to the minute. So Syracuse is 5-8 in the league. We can all agree that's not good. But now, by holding on to that win, Syracuse is now 3 games up on not having to worry about missing the conference tournament. So that's good. Syracuse is 5-8. They're a game back of Virginia Tech, who's 6-7 in the league. They won at Notre Dame today. Virginia Tech is currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Virginia Tech's currently 8th in the league. Syracuse is a game out of not only making the ACC tournament, but getting a bye. This is how dumb the league is, too. And yes, Cuse Vegas. Somehow, after all that, the Arch covered 7.5. My goodness. Like, how? Oh, 2C's here. Why wasn't it a good game? Did you watch the game, 2C? Now you're going to tell me that was good basketball? It was terrible basketball. It was entertaining. Don't tell me that was good basketball, Tusey. Come on. Guy who doesn't want J.J. Starling on the team anymore. Like, come on. Don't even with me on that. It was an absolutely atrocious basketball game. It was compelling. I couldn't look away, but I also couldn't keep my eyes on it. It was like, I mean, what was that? What was that? It was two teams that are not good that played a game that was not good that ended up being close. Close doesn't always mean good. Close can still mean interesting. It was something. Oh, man. Man, oh, man. Yeah, it was a bad game. But no team, that's your takeaway, Tusey, that no team's going to shoot 100%? All right, we'll go with that. Oh, man. Oh, what a game it was. It was something like I'll remember watching it, I suppose. The 6 OT game, it was not. Man, but talk about two teams that yanked it away. Syracuse missed 3. I don't think we've talked about this yet. Syracuse missed 3 front ends of 1-and-1s in the final minute of regulation. That's as good as missing 6 free throws to keep the door open, and then you don't foul up 3 because JJ gets caught up in the screen. Like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But, hey, it's two teams that, yeah, it was entertaining, McAllister. Absolutely. It wasn't good. But, man, it was something. I don't know what. It was something. Yeah, how many minutes did Carlos play? Carlos played a lot. Carlos ended up playing. Again, there were 55 minutes in the game. Jaquan played 33 of them. He finally scored in the third overtime, so he got that on the board. I don't know, Kev. He had a wrap on his right hand. It wasn't like a significant wrap. It was just a little tape, but I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Edna. I don't know if that's in the healthcare policy. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Brent was at the presser. I heard his voice in there. We're allowed to say his name out loud. Man, just what a game. Not good, but I'm stunned that Syracuse ended up with better free throw numbers than BC in this game too. How about Donald Hand? He came into the game leading the ACC, shooting 90%. I don't know how. Watching his free throws, he's got a weird hitch in the middle of his free throws. He went 3 of 8 from the line. Oh man, oh man. When was the last time Syracuse and BC played a triple overtime game? The Syracuse and the BC women, I think, played a triple overtime game a handful of years ago that BC won. I recall that game. Was the Pearl shot in triple overtime? No, that wasn't triple overtime, was it? Was that just a walk-off at regulation? Oh, my goodness. If Lampkin was phenomenal, Eddie is such a weird figure. Like, Eddie was good. He had 14 points and 18 rebounds. Eddie was terrible. He can't finish at the rim. Eddie is a magnificent something or another. He had 14 points, 18 rebounds. That's great. And he catches the ball like 2 inches from the rim and doesn't even think about shooting. It's baffling. That's Mike. That's what the broadcast keeps saying. That's what the broadcast kept saying. I have not actually verified the let's verify the correctness of that. Let's go to theacc.com. Lampkin was something. Lampkin played 49 minutes. For all the, I think we can look back at the beginning of the year with Eddie and attribute a lot of it to, like, yeah, his back was messed up. He played 49 minutes today, so full credit to him on that, and still looked reasonably spry, all things considered, at the end. Yeah, Lampkin had 18 rebounds. 18's a lot of rebounds. The dude's now at a 23 rebound game and an 18 rebound game this season. That's a lot. All right. ACC stats, loading. Free in leaders. Free throws. Donald Hand was, is this updated to include today? Donald Hand. This has him at 87%, so this may have updated to include this game. Yeah. Donald had 104 of 119 on the season, and that's what his free throw shot looks like. The whole thing is the whole thing is baffling. What a strange game. What a very strange game. What a very strange game. If anyone likes to call, you may 315-437-7644. We'll hang out till 7-ish or so here. Yeah. See, Mike, I have a much easier time, as you can see, with my current attire. I can just root against the Eagles both days. Yeah. Take that. Take that, McAllister. Yeah. Boo, Eagles. I've worn all my Giants gear today because this is the closest we're getting to the Super Bowl. This is the best we got. This is the best we got. Eddie, yeah, a contradiction. That's probably the best way to describe him, Phil. Like, he's good at a lot of things and bad at a lot of things. He's everything all at once. It's a mysterious situation when it comes to one Eddie Lampkin of how that all goes down. It's something. It is absolutely something of whatever that is. I like Saquon. Yeah, Mike. I will root for Saquon to have a nice game. I just will not. I would root for him to win if he wasn't on the Eagles. I can't root for the Eagles. It's just, in what scenario? I'm trying to consider a scenario I could root for the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I don't know. Like, I could root for the Eagles if they're playing the Cowboys. That obviously couldn't be the Super Bowl. I don't know if there is a scenario, Mike, I could root for the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I don't know. Well, I guess I was rooting for the Eagles when I rooted for the Eagles in the McNabb Super Bowl. All right. Stafford to the Giants? That would be random. Yeah, I rooted for the Eagles in the McNabb Super Bowl. Okay, there is a scenario. There's the scenario, Mike. That was the scenario. It's going to be hard to replicate that scenario unless Kyle McCord becomes the starting quarterback for the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Everyone owns the Giants, Al. Everybody owns the Giants. KC fan is rooting for the Chiefs. Yeah, who we got in the Super Bowl tomorrow? Anything else on the game today? Like what? I just, that game hurt my brain in a lot of ways. The non-basket interference was an atrocious call, Mike. That was a bad call. There was some out of bounds calls that were clearly incorrect on replay. I think it evened out. I think the bad calls evened out for whatever that means, but that basket interference was as clear as day. Like, I realized you can't grab the net when the ball's on the rim. Like, it's against the rules. It's against the rules. The 10 second was close. I wasn't certain on that one. Syracuse Sports Noir. Yeah, I thought it evened out, Supercat. I don't think it was like, oh my God, Syracuse is getting screwed by the refs. It was just like, what in the hell is going on with some of these calls? It was just, yeah, the whole they missed. It felt like they missed like 6 out of bounds calls, probably 3 for each team. It was like, what is going on? All right, Bert Smith's at the monitor. Sweet. Oh man, oh man. What are you bringing back, KC fan? What are you bringing back? The Super Bowl? It's amazing, Mike, is it not? It is amazing. Virginia's winning right now. I still have the CW on. I roll with the CW. CW for life. Do you think that scroll on the bottom of the screen was going by enough that was telling us that this game was coming up next, except for the first most of the time it said that Syracuse and Georgia Tech was coming up next? And then they were going double boxes, all because they don't have a separate way to stream the other games, so they can't send you anywhere? Like, you got to be pissed if you're... Like, that makes nobody happy. Like, it was annoying watching our game. If you're Georgia Tech or Virginia fans that just wants to watch your name, you got to be pissed. It's the whole thing's annoying. Devo's got a game tonight? I'll be happy if let's see, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, who will I be happy for? I suppose I'll be happy for you, Mike. I guess I'll be happy for Saquon because I got no problem with Saquon. That's probably it. Well, is that okay, Andrew Luck? I'll ask you this. So there was a timeout. In the huddle, in the timeout, Red tells them to foul. The players don't foul. Whose fault is it? That's Red's fault? Like, whose fault is it? Like, if in the huddle they were told to foul and then they don't execute the foul, like, that's Red's fault? Like, did he need to tell them more to foul? Like, I don't know. Like, that's JJ. It's your best player. Friend of the show. It's your best player, and he doesn't, and he gets stuck on the screen and doesn't go around and foul the guy. Like, it's Red's fault because they haven't fixed their tendencies in practice, Jay? Is there any responsibility for the players? Like, do the players hold any responsibility for anything? Like, the team's been going under screens all year. Like, it's laziness at some point, right? That's true. Boeheim could have been there. I didn't think of that, T-Tanks. Like, I don't. Who knows how it gets explained in the huddle? Like, to say none of it's on Red. Like, I'm not absolving him of responsibility, but like, we know they were told to foul. Like, we know that, and they didn't. So, what's up with that? What's up with that? Oh yeah, much better than a loss. Cheryl Day Mason. No, the Andrew Luck guy's talking about the one play, Pat. He's talking about the very specific play. Like, they tried to foul. I mean, they fouled before earlier. Like, they made the right play with 5 seconds left. It just happened to be the team's 6th foul, so it didn't send them to the line. Yeah, and then Eddie probably should have just barreled through the screen also, right? I mean, just the whole thing was just peculiar. Why guard the inbounds pass? To make it harder for the inbounder, Andrew Luck? That's generally why one would guard an inbounds pass, to make it harder for the inbounder. People have been asking for, let's see, how many years is it now? 33 years. Why Kentucky didn't guard Grant Hill. Like, it's literally, that question is not stopped being asked for 33 years. Well, yeah, but it could have had an effect, Andrew, just because it didn't. Jake, you're saying that coach is most likely not at practice? What are you talking about? You're saying the head coach of the team isn't at practice? Like, come on. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, Red's not at practice. That's the answer. Oh, man. I don't know what's going on with Chance T-Takes. I'm just going to assume we'll never watch him play basketball. The Donnie Freeman, the game was so nuts, I don't think he got asked about Donnie at all post-game, so we'll have to wait to hear Red on that. Red is not at practice. Like, what are you talking about? Like, at least come up with something plausible. The head coach has not been seen at practice. You wrote, it's on the coach to fix it, and he most likely isn't at practice. That's what you wrote, Jake. It's on the coach to fix it, comma, and he most likely isn't at practice. So, you might need to learn writing comprehension. Yeah, Red sends others to practice in his stead. Well, you're telling me that my reading comprehension is wrong, but you wrote it in a way that made it sound like Red's not at practice. But yeah, I'm the one that screwed it up. Just for you, Kev. Just getting fired up for you. Like, yeah, Red does play. It's just like I'm not here to tell you Red's doing a perfect job. Far from it. But man, like when you tell your players don't go under screen, foul, and then it doesn't happen. Yeah, it's Gerard's fault. It's Gerard's fault. Yeah, I'm going to. We're actually rescinding the Labatt Flyaway winner. I'm going to go in his place and coach the game in Miami on Tuesday. Hey, look, there's Ralph Sampson. Damn it, Caper. That I agree on, T. Murphy. Yeah, rumor is Red is actually not going on the Miami trip. He's going to let a NIL donor coach the game to help the team's NIL fund. They did, Mike? That's excellent. I don't know why you would say that, Jake, but you did say that. So I don't know why you would say that. I don't know why you've said much of what you've said, but when the words that you wrote were that. I don't know why a lot of people in this chat say a lot of things they do, but they say them. So, I mean, I don't know. But my reading comprehension was spot on. Shout out to Jimmy Lee. Roy Danforth. Shout out to all of them. Shout out to all of them. Dave Portnoy, maybe Peaches. Miss Peaches, Cuse fan. Maybe Dave's dog can coach the game. Who is working the pre- and post-game show on Tuesday, Zach? I am working the pre-game show. The post-game show is Paulie. It's a Paulie-Palooza post-game. So you can all enjoy that. Paulie on post-game. I've got pre-game on Tuesday. All right. Is Paulie doing a what? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Paulie's doing. Who knows what Paulie's doing? We can't keep up with Paulie. Yeah, Chris Bell had 6 rebounds. I know they played 3 overtimes, but Red brought it up post-game there. Chris had 6 rebounds. That's wild. The fact that occurred in any amount of time is wild. Are you going to pay me for it, LA Orange? Yeah, JJ's been under the weather all week. He sounded a little scratchy. Where I stand on Red getting next year, I stand that he's going to get next year, Andrew. Like, he's going to get it. That's where I stand on it. It's going to happen. And there we are. Like, he will be the coach next year. He's not going to get fired. It's not really an opinion. That's just what's going to happen. Do I agree with it? I'd say this. If you're going to, and this is what I've said all along, if you're going to hire a guy like Red who had no previous head coaching experience and not give him a chance to be head coach and fire him after 2 years, then why did you hire him in the first place? If you hired him, you need to give him a chance. But next year, who said it yesterday? Was it Dro who called in yesterday on the show? Like, next year, in many ways, is like the most important year in the history of the program. Like, next year's a make or break kind of year. Like, next year's a make or break year. Oh, Ryan Mullen. Live calls during the game. Live from South Beach. Like, for all the people that think is like, Red has plenty he needs to learn from. Absolutely. And I don't think it helps Red that, like, certainly coming off Boeheim, whose press conferences were distinct entertainment, that Reds are not. Like, I think that's literally part of it. But Reds got a lot to learn. And because they screwed up the roster this year, all we see is the results of the same screwed up roster every game. So, like, people keep looking at these games like, oh, Red's an idiot. Well, the problem remains the screwed up roster. Well, next year he has Sadiq White and Kyan Anthony coming in, whom at last check he recruited. So, yeah. That's why. Like, because you don't hire a guy like that, and it's just not the way it works. You don't hire a guy in that position and boot him. Like, this ain't the Premier League. I don't know, Supercat. I mean, 4 or 5, one would assume. And then, like, if we see the same thing again next year, then you know. Then you know. But last year was a more talented team, and I thought we saw signs during the year last year of growth from Red as a game coach from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. This year's team is a mess, and everything's a mess. So it's just, and I think a lot of people are judging his game coaching ability this year when I don't know if it's the game coaching that's as big of an issue this year as the messed up roster. How do you know that, Andrew? I don't know. But he is coming. This is becoming a pointless argument, Andrew, because you're not going to accept any other answer. You asked my opinion, I gave you my opinion, and there we have it. I don't know if Kyan Anthony was coming here with or without Red. I have no idea what role Red Autry being in existence led Kyan Anthony to be here. I don't know. Neither do you. Yeah, Cheryl Day, I'd say that's where we're at right now. Like, the team's issues are what they are. They haven't changed, and they're not going to change. That's where we're at on this year's teams. Like, they have some deficiencies that cannot be overcome on this year's team. Now, if you get, like, say Donnie comes back. Say JJ's back. Say Choppa's back. Say Sadiq's here. Say Kyan's here. Say you go get a center out of the portal and another player or two out of the portal that are useful rotation players. Say you have that. If you have that, and we watch the season, and it looks like this, and it's just like, okay. Okay. Like, it's everybody. Like, the players aren't good enough this year, but, like, the coaching hasn't been great. Like, it's all of it, but you can't just keep hitting reset all the time. You can't. All right. Anything else? We need to wrap it up. We've been hanging out here For a while, yeah. SUNY Cortland, like they know how to coach some. They know how to coach some stuff down there at Cortland. They win a lot of games. Well, I think letting Red go mid-season, like, no, that's pointless. He'll go coach next year. Like this is still not Kenny Payne. Is Kenny Payne still in the chat? This is still not what Louisville was last year. It's not that. It's not that. Like, I think next year you'll have a very good. Yeah, and to Mike's point, yeah, you fire Red after 2 years. And I think you also need to take this into account if you're Syracuse. Miami's hiring a coach this year. Florida State's hiring a coach this year. Virginia's going to be hiring a coach this year. At minimum in the league. Like, within the league this year. If he doesn't make the Sweet 16, like, that's completely arbitrary. Like, go make the tournament next year. Like, the tournament's a crapshoot. Go make the tournament. Like, get in the tournament. Like, do you really want to be hiring a head coach in the ACC the same year that Miami, Florida State, and Virginia are all hiring? I think you need to seriously consider that thought as well. Yeah, and North Carolina, potentially, if they get rid of Hubert Davis. Like, that would be a kind of a wild year to be hiring a head coach. Yeah, it would be nice to make the Sweet 16, but, like, do we fire Jim Boeheim the years he didn't make the Sweet 16? Yep, Pitino. Pitino would have said they were never going to hire Rick Pitino. Like, we can have these pointless arguments. Yeah, we should hire Bob. We'll get Bob Huggins in here. We'll buy Rick Pitino away from St. John's. Hop will come back as an assistant. Boeheim's actually going to be the third assistant. You know, it's all going to work out. It's all going to work out. Say, if you're not going to give the guy, like, in college, and this whole, and I add into this too, like, is part of this Reds' fault? Yes. But, like, everything has changed in college basketball here in the last year. Like, everything has changed in the last year, right? What hasn't changed in the last couple of years? NIL, the portal, all this crap has changed. And they messed it up for a couple of years. But they messed up stuff that they're trying to figure out. Yeah, let's hire buddy Jimmy. Let's hire them all. All right. We'll yell about this more. We got another month plus to yell about this stuff. We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. Yeah, get the torches and the pitchforks. Enjoy your night. Enjoy the Super Bowl tomorrow. I'll be with you 4:00 on Monday. Normal lineup on Monday. We got Natan and Devo at 11. We got Orange Nation at noon. Newhouse at 2. We've got Cody at 3. I'll be with you at 4. Super Bowl tomorrow. Listen to it on ESPN here in the Cuse. All that good stuff. Syracuse won today. All right, off the couch, everybody. The therapy couch. You can sit on your actual couch. Talk to you all on Monday. See ya.